I am Bijal Kansara, Assistant Professor from Electrical Engineering Department of Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. In this video, we will discuss topic name long transmission line and the representation from the chapter number 3. Now, in a long transmission line, when length of the transmission line is more than 200 or 250 km, it is called as a long transmission line. Since the line parameters are distributed along the entire length of the line, the equivalent circuit of a three-phase transmission line is shown in this figure. A total line is divided into the end section and each section having a line constant 1 by n time of the total line. Here total resistance is R. Here total resistance is R, but this line is totally divided into n parts. So the resistance of that one part is R by n and the series inductive reactance is XL by n. Now, following points are considered for the long transmission line. The line constants are uniformly distributed over the entire length of the line. Second thing, this resistance means R and inductive reactance X are a series element, and capacitive susceptance means this B. Capacitive susceptance is B and a leakage conductance is G are a shunt elements. So, it can be write as Z is equal to R plus JX or JXL and under root R square plus XL square, J is removed and Y can be written as under root G square plus D square. So Y value is depend on this G conductance and B susceptance and Z admittance. This is a impedance and Y is admittance. Clear? The transmission line is uniformly distributed over the entire length of line for long transmission line. Resistance and inductive reactance are a series element. Leakage susceptance B due to the capacitance between the line and neutral. Leakage conductance G due to the energy loss through leakage over the insulators or corona loss are a shunt elements. Leakage current through a shunt admittance is maximum at the sending end of the line, decreasing continuously as the receiving end of circuit is approached. Clear? Resistance and inductive reactance are series element. This conductance and susceptance are a shunt element. Leakage susceptance is present due to the capacitance between this line and this neutral. This is a neutral terminal. So B is present due to the capacitance between line and neutral terminal, and the leakage conductance G is due to energy loss through a leakage over the insulator or corona losses in a overhead conductors, and leakage current through this shunt admittance. This total of these two is called as a shunt admittance is maximum at the sending end of line and decreasing continuously as the receiving end of circuit is approaches. So shunt admission Y is maximum at this terminal, Y is maximum at this terminal, and Y is decreasing from sending end to receiving end. So Y is decreasing at this point. Clear? Now consider a small element in a length of transmission line dx part and which is situated x from the receiving end. This is a exact solution for the long transmission line and it is also called as a rigorous method for the long transmission line. Clear? Exact equivalent circuit of a long transmission line is shown in this figure. Here we consider infinitely small length dx. This infinitely small length dx of the line at the distance x from the receiving end. Here this is the receiving end, so distance x from the receiving end we take or we consider infinitely small length dx of the line. Now consider a small element in a line of the length dx situated distance x from the receiving end. Now some notations are present here. Small z means series impedance of a line per unit length. Series impedance of a line per unit length. Here small z. Now small y is a shunt admittance of a line per unit length. Shunt admittance. Okay, small y is a shunt admittance of line per unit length. Now, capital Z is equal to total series impedance of the line. Capital Y is equal to shunt admittance of the line. Here the difference between this four notation, small z and small y indicate that series impedance or shunt admittance of a line per unit length for the small area, and capital Z and capital Y is for total series impedance of the line, and capital Y is a total shunt admittance of the line. Clear? Now Z into dx means we take infinitely small part of this transmission line and its length is dx. So if it is multiplied with the small z, it becomes series impedance of the small element of dx terminal. Okay. Now y into dx is equal to shunt admittance of the small element dx. If we multiply z and small y with the length of transmission line, particular length of transmission line, then it becomes series impedance or shunt impedance of that part of transmission line. So here we multiply with dx area, so it becomes series impedance and shunt admittance of that small element dx. Now capital V is a voltage and of the element towards the receiving end. Here take receiving end voltage as a reference voltage is equal to capital V. Now V plus dV is equal to the voltage at the end of elements towards the sending end. Here V is a receiving end side voltage, V plus dV is a voltage at the end of element and towards the sending end. Clear? Now I plus dl is a current entering a small element dx. Here IDL is a current entering from the sending end side and I is a current leaving the small element dx. Here I is a current leaving from this small distance dx. Now current entering the element is I plus dl, current leaving the element is I, voltage drop across this small element is dV and current through this shunt element is di. Clear all the notations? Now applying Ohm's law for this small area, we know that V is equal to IR. If resistance is present, if resistance, inductance or capacitance is present, we take a impedance instead of resistance. So we can write V is equal to I into Z for the voltage equation. From this equation we can write the current as a I is equal to V by Z. Clear? So for small element voltage is dV, current is I and that impedance is Z into dx. So we can write dV is equal to I into Z dx because Z dx is a impedance of that element dx. So dV is equal to I into Z dx. Okay. From this equation we can write dx can be taken left side, so it can write dV upon dx is equal to I into Z. This is become equation number 1. Now from second equation, now I is equal to V by Z, we all know that, but one admittance equation Y is equal to 1 upon Z. Admittance and impedance are reciprocal for each other, so in this equation we can write I is equal to V by Z instead of V into Y. Clear? V into Y. So current becomes I is equal to V into Y. From this equation we can write for this shunt element, current is DI, voltage is capital V, and the admittance for this small element is Y into dx. Clear? Now dx can be taken at the left side, so write di is equal to dx is equal to V into Y. Clear? These two equation we get 1 and 2. Now differentiating above equation, now differentiating first equation with respect to x, so it can become d square V by dx square, and which is equal to z is a constant, only differentiating with x is only I, so we can write z common di by dx, but we get from di by dx is equal to V into Y from the equation number 2, so put di by dx is equal to V into Y into z. So d square V by dx square minus Vyz is equal to 0. This is the equation number 3, and by solving this differential equation we get this equation. Please remember this equation. V is equal to k1 cos hyperbolic, h is indicate that hyperbolic function of cos, so V is equal to k1 cos h into cos h function of x under root yz plus k2 sin h x under root yz. Now differentiating this equation with respect to the x, so we get k1 is constant, sin hyperbolic becomes a cos and cos hyperbolic becomes a sin, so we get the equation dv by dx under root yz k1 sin hyperbolic x under root yz plus under root yz k2 cos hyperbolic x under root yz. Now we know that dv by dz is equal to iz from the equation number 1, so put it down value dv by dx is equal to iz, and this right side is the same. Now only we have to find value of I, so z is taken at a right side, so z is divided in these two terms, so it becomes under root y by z k1 sin x under root yz plus under root yz k2 cos h in x under root yz. Clear? Now y under root y by z is present in a both term, so it can be taken as a outside common, so equation becomes I is equal to under root yz in bracket k1 sin h x under root yz plus k2 cos h x under root yz. Now we have to find the value of this k1 and k2, so we applying end condition method like x is equal to 0, v is equal to vr and I is equal to ir in these two equations, this equation number 4 and equation number 5. So if we put in this equation v is equal to vr, v is equal to vr k1 cos x is 0, so this term becomes a 0 plus k2 sin 0. Clear? So we all know that cos 0 is equal to 1 and sin 0 is equal to 0, so this term becomes a 0. Only present is vr is equal to VR is equal to K1 into cos 0 is equal to 1. So becomes a 1. So we get the value of K1 is equal to VR. So we find that in this equation we can write the K1 as equal to VR. Now from this equation put I is equal to IR and X is equal to 0. So this equation becomes IR is equal to under root Y by Z in bracket K1 sin 0 plus K2 cos 0. And we know that sin 0 is equal to 0 and cos 0 is equal to 1. So this term becomes a 0 and only present is IR is equal to under root Y by Z K2. So value of K2 we get is equal to, this term is taken as a left side. So K2 is becomes under root Z by Y into IR. So in these two equations we can write K1 as a VR and K2 is equal to under root Z by Y into R. Clear? So write it down into these two equations. So instead of KR we write K1, we write the VR in these two equations, and instead of K2 we put under root Z by Y into R in this equation. Now this is the equation for the X, distance is X. If we write L length of transmission line, then put X is equal to N this above equation, and now general equation becomes Vs is equal to VR cos H L under root YZ plus under root Z by Y IR sin H L under root YZ, and Is is equal to under root Y by Z in bracket VR sin H L under root YZ plus under root Z by Y IR cos H L under root YZ. Clear? Now L under root small YZ is equal to, take L inside the root, so we can write L square. So L applied to the both Y and Z. So L into Y is a capital Y and L into Z is a capital Z. So we can write L under root YZ instead of capital YZ, and small yz is equal to capital Y by Z instead of small y by Z. So this equation becomes like this, and the equation for cos hyperbolic under root Y by Z is equal to 1 plus YZ by 2 y square Z square by 24 plus up to infinity, and the sin hyperbolic under root Y by Z is equal to under root Y by Z plus Y by Z raised to 3 by 2 by 6 plus up to infinity. These are the universal equation. We have only accept this and use in our calculation. Now Rigorous method can be more understand by using one example. A three-phase overhead transmission line has a total series impedance per phase is 200 and angle 80 degree ohm per phase, and total shunt admittance at the 0.0013 angle 90 Siemens per phase. The line deliver a load at the 80 megawatt at the 0.8 power factor lagging and 220 kV between the lines. Determine sending end current and sending end voltage by using a rigorous method. Rigorous method means we have to use these two equations for the calculation of the sending end voltage and the sending end current. Now given data, the first one is receiving end voltage which is equal to 220 kV. So 220 into 10 raised to 3 and angle is 0. So it can write in a rectangular form like this: 220 into 10 raised to 3 plus J0. And power factor is given cos phi r is equal to 0.8 lakh, so phi r is equal to cos inverse 0.8 and which is equal to 36.86. Now impedance is given 200 angle 80. It can convert it into rectangle form and we get 34.72 plus 196.96 J ohm per phase. And now admittance Y is given 0.0013 angle 90. It can convert it into the rectangular form and its value is 0.0013 J ohm Siemens per phase. Clear? Now power, receiving end power is given PR is equal to root 3 VR IR cos phi r. By using this equation we can find the value of IR because all the value is given except the IR. So value equation of IR becomes IR is equal to PR upon root 3 VR cos phi r. PR value is 80 into 10 raised to 3 upon root 3 into 220 into 10 raised to 3 into 0.8 and the value of IR we get is 262.43 ampere. This is a magnitude and the angle is this 36.86 but minus because there is a lagging of current IR from the VR. So IR value is 262.43 angle minus 36.86 and it can convert it into the rectangular form and the value is 209.97 minus 157.42 J. Now we have to use this equation for the Vs and Is. So we require the cos hyperbolic under root y by z, sin hyperbolic under root y by z, this term under root z by y and under root y by z. Clear? We require these 4 terms, so we have calculated this 4 term first. So cos under root y by z equation is 1 plus yz by 2 plus y square z square by 24 plus up to infinity. We only take first 2 terms, means 1 plus second term. So write down this value y and z from this value of y and value of z in a polar form. Clear? So multiplies these 2 terms is easily done in a polar form. Multiplication and division easily done in a polar form, and summation and a subtraction can be easily done in a rectangular form. Okay, so here multiplication is required, so we can write the value in the polar form and we get the 0.13 angle 140. Now this 2 term is in addition, so we require this polar form has to be a convert into the rectangular form, so we can easily addition with this 1. So final value of this cos h under root y by y into z is 0.872 angle 1.47. Same way write down value of y and z in a sin h under root y by z and we get the value like this. Clear? Yes, one important term, there is one equation r angle theta. This is a polar form equation and if we apply a degree here, so it becomes r raised to n, angle becomes n into theta. Here this polar term is 0.26 angle 170, right? And root means it has a degree 1 by 2, so this becomes 0.26. Answer we get is 0.26 root and angles becomes 1 by 2 into 170. Clear? So 0.26 root is 0.50 and 170 divided by 2 is 85. In this way we get this answer. How to find root in a polar form. Clear? Now under root y by z, put value of y and z and then calculations. Same way, under root z by y can be find and its value is 392.23, angle is 5. Now put all this value in these two equation, Vs and Is. Now first Vs equation is Vr cos h under root y by z plus Ir under root z by y sin h under root y by y into z. Put all these values in this equation and take Vr value as a phase value, so divide by root 3 because 220 given is a line value. Okay, so we get the 153.07 and angle is 4.38. This is a phase value. We required a line value, so convert this phase value into line value by multiplying with root 3. Same way Is can be calculated. Is equation is Vr under root y by z sin h under root y into z plus Ir cos h under root y into z. Put all this value in this equation and then calculate and we get the value. Now we have to find a phi s. How phi s can be measured? Take a reference. This angle is for Vs, there is an angle is 14.38. So with reference Vs angle is 14.38 and for Is angle is 8.77 with reference. So difference between these two angle 14.38 and 8.77 is the angle for the phi s, and sending end power factor cos phi s is equal to cos 5.61 and it is a 0.99 lakh. Now voltage regulation equation for the voltage regulation is Vs minus Vr upon Vr. Put all the value in this equation and we get 20.50 and transmission efficiency is 3 Vr Ir cos phi r upon 3 Vs Is cos phi r. Put all this value Vr Ir cos phi r Vs Is cos phi s and into 100 and we get transmission efficiency is 93.23%. Now GTU question that covered in this video lecture is write the solution on an exact solution of the transmission line or explain a rigorous method. You have to write this total theory in this question for the 7 marks. Okay, clear? This is called as a rigorous method. Thank you.